everyone. It's Ro. Welcome back to Mommy Virtue, brought to you by MetroHealth. So, of course, this is your village moms and moms to be. All the questions, concerns, and just the things that you think about pre-getting pregnant to postpartum. So we're going to address some things that we haven't talked about yet, but this was a good one today. It's a big discussion, especially over the recent years. Vaccines for infants and beyond. Vaccines play a critical role in protecting infants and young children from serious illnesses. And despite overwhelming scientific evidence supporting vaccine safety and effectiveness, some parents still have questions and concerns about vaccinating their infants and children. And in today's episode, we have Dr. Candis Platt-Houston, pediatrician at MetroHealth, addressing some of the misconceptions, of course, the importance of childhood immunizations, and explaining how vaccines not only protect individual children, but also help safeguard entire communities. So let's jump right in. Thank you for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm great.
Good. All right, so vaccines.
Yes.
Especially, this is completely separate, but the pandemic. Whew, Lord, you could not say that word. But we're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about vaccines and the misinformation in the recent years. What are some of the biggest myths about childhood vaccines?
I think one of the biggest myths is that we don't need vaccines because we're not seeing those illnesses anymore, which is true, and that's proof of why they do work. So most parents, and actually most physicians, have not seen some of the illnesses and diseases that the vaccines protect against.
Yeah.
And that's because the vaccines actually work to eradicate disease. However, we are starting to see some diseases reemerge, as we're seeing the measles, mumps, rubella that you've been seeing in the news, and also pertussis, which causes whooping cough. And that's because other people are coming from other countries that are not vaccinated, and then we have parents here in the U.S. that choose not to vaccinate. So those children are at risk when they're not vaccinating. So the vaccines work. They stop the disease. When you don't get vaccinated, we start seeing these diseases reemerge.
Come back. Let's talk about the myth of autism. You know, a lot of parents and people seem to think that these vaccines are causing autism in children.
Right. And that's unfortunate. I mean, that is a myth. There are multiple studies out there that have shown that no vaccine causes autism. One of the ones that was linked years ago was the measles, mumps, and rubella. It was shown that that person who did that research article actually, let's say, fudged the data. So it was not a true study. And future studies have shown that no vaccine, including the measles, mumps, or rubella vaccine, is linked to autism.
And these are questions that parents can ask their doctors if they feel uncomfortable or unsure,
Absolutely.
right? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Why is it so important for vaccinations in early life?
So one of the main reasons is that infants, they don't really have an immune system. So we want to protect them from some of those illnesses and diseases that can be life-threatening. So it's important to immunize them early so that their immune system is shown sort of like a memory of what we want their body to fight off. So when we vaccinate them, we give them parts of what we're trying to protect them from so that their immune system recognizes it as foreign and recognizes it as something to fight off.
Gotcha. So that makes sense because some people will say like, oh, the vaccines are just making you sick, but essentially.
Right, it's boosting their immune system. So you can get a fever, sometimes some achiness, cold symptoms, depending on what vaccine you get from the vaccine, but that's just the vaccine working to boost your immune system.
Cool. So what is herd immunity and how does it work?
So herd immunity is sort of the idea that when we vaccinate enough people have the defense against, let's say, a particular vaccine, or a particular, virus or bacteria. So that when enough people in the community are vaccinated, then that bacteria can't run rampant, let's say. So it sort of, puts up barriers for it spreading as widely. It's important too for people who are immunocompromised, who let's say can't get vaccinated, or young children who can't get vaccinated against certain things. When we vaccinate enough, then we provide protection for everyone in the community.
Gotcha.
Even for those who may not get vaccinated.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a group effort.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. What's the typical schedule? So if you're a new mom or parent in general and you're just thinking about like, oh my gosh, because okay, I have a friend, I'll say a friend,
Okay.
that when they think about vaccinating their children, they're like, I don't want to put all those shots in my baby.
Right.
And I mean, I guess in the grand scheme of things, when you look at the life course of a child into adulthood, there probably are a plethora of vaccines that they should have. Can we talk about the schedule of what that looks like?
Absolutely. So typically at birth, when your baby is born, they offer you the hepatitis B vaccine, and that's the first vaccine that they will get. And if it's RSV season, they may also offer you the RSV vaccine at that age group. And then you come to see your doctor or your provider. At the 2-month visit, the 4-month visit, and the 6-month visit, we give the same vaccines. And those would include another hepatitis B at each of those visits, a DTaP, which stands for diphtheria, tetanus, and pertussis, a Haemophilus vaccine, shortened is HIB, the pneumococcal or Prevnar vaccine, which protects against pneumonia, and rotavirus, which protects against a virus that causes diarrhea and can lead to dehydration. I think I left it. Polio. So those are the vaccines that we give at the 2, 4, and 6 month. Typically at the 9-month visit, your baby has a break, and we just make sure they're healthy, check on their development, catch up any vaccines that maybe they did not get previously. And then at their 12-month visit, once they turn 1, we give them their measles, mumps, rubella, which is 1 injection, their varicella or chickenpox, which is 2 injections, and then their hepatitis A. And then at 15 months, they get some more of those, so their DTaP, their HIB. So they're basically finishing up their vaccines. We spread them out a little bit more. By 18 months, you're getting your second hepatitis A. So our goal was to have kids vaccinated by the time they're 2.
Gotcha. Like fully vaccinated?
Fully vaccinated for that age group. They would then, prior to kindergarten, so somewhere between 4 and 6, we would give them their booster doses for their measles, mumps, rubella, chickenpox, polio, and DTaP. So then they get a long break until they're 11 or 12, and then they come in and we offer and recommend the meningitis, Tdap, and then the HPV, which protects against viruses that can cause cervical cancer. And then lastly, at 16, we offer them the booster to their meningitis.
Gotcha. And you didn't say this one, but is it just because it's not a part of like the system of vaccines, but like the flu shot?
Yes.
Or something like that.
So of course, we don't want to forget about the flu shot. So we're always offering that at ages 6 months up through adults. So every flu season. So that one is yearly, and that's because the flu strand can change every year. So we do recommend that yearly. We also recommend the COVID vaccine, which can also be given from ages 6 months up through adults.
So I just have a question completely off this card here, but for everyone watching, and I guess for us too, so like I'm pretty sure, I know I was vaccinated when I was a child. You might have been vaccinated.
Absolutely.
So it's like, why is one of the myths or stigmas that kids now they just can't be vaccinated because it's like, oh, God forbid you put all these, all of what you said in our bodies. Like, we didn't go through that. So it's like, what separates us from the kids today? Is there a big difference about what's being given to them vaccine wise versus what we maybe got?
No, I think it's just social media and more fear, more distrust. You know, especially since COVID, we've seen a lot more people decline multiple vaccines or want an alternative vaccine schedule. So I think once COVID vaccine, everybody thought, oh, they're inventing this vaccine that they're injecting into us. So I think there was a mistrust. I think, parents start to feel I have more of a choice versus just feeling like, oh, get your vaccine and I'm going to trust that.
Yeah.
So I think it's just maybe a trust with the medical community, but they are the same vaccines. Vaccines have been around for decades and decades and decades. I was vaccinated. I even have parents who have vaccinated their younger children and then all of a sudden don't want to vaccinate their, their older children
their
and
new
now
babies,
don't want to vaccinate the new babies. But so, I have this conversation a lot. Sometimes I share a personal story. When I was growing up, I had an aunt. This was pre-vaccine era.
Okay.
And she got measles, and it turned into encephalitis, which is inflammation of the brain. She was 3. She never walked or talked again after that. The measles vaccine, I believe, came out within the next 6 months after she had gotten disease. So I grew up watching my grandparents take care of her. She's actually why I became a pediatrician. I couldn't understand why the doctors could not, cure her.
Yeah.
But had the vaccine been available, that wouldn't happen to her. That's a devastating consequence of not getting vaccinated, or in her case, the vaccine not being available.
Yeah.
But we don't see that anymore, and people forget about that. But that's one of the reasons I'm passionate about vaccines, because I watched my grandparents take care of my aunt.
Yeah.
She eventually passed. She was 18. I was in the 4th grade.
Sorry.
Just because, she couldn't fight off infections and things like that. But so sometimes I share my story with patients, just to get them to understand we don't see that now, but that's what we're trying to protect your child from.
Yeah. Well, the truth is some people are seeing that. Some people are seeing the impact of having an unvaccinated child or person,
Right.
to whatever the degree is. I mean, that is the reality of somebody's situation. So I want to thank you for sharing your story, because that's special, especially as to why you're sitting in your seat that you are and helping people, helping families keep their families safe, their babies safe. So thank you.
Right.
If you have questions about childhood vaccines, or you need to get your child vaccinated and caught up on their immunization, MetroHealth is here to support you with trusted care and up-to-date vaccine guidance. So visit metrohealth.org/pediatrics for more information, or call 216-778-2222 to schedule a pediatrician appointment today. Thank you so much again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yay.